Tonight, the deal is DED. Cabinet says it does not support the SpeedNet acquisition. Jules Vasquez will be on set to tell us what went into that decision and what happens next. And the teachers and the unions were gearing up for major, multiple, simultaneous protests next week. So what happens now? Plus, a fisherman murdered. He died after being stabbed on Rangwana Key. We spoke to his wife. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Thursday, August 13th, 2026. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
BTB Accommodations License Renewal 2026 opens August 1st through the online portal. BTB is also having its license renewal clinic countrywide, starting August 10th in Corozal, then in Orange Walk, Key Cocker, San Pedro, Hopkins, Placencia, Toledo, Belize City, San Ignacio, and Belmopan. Remember, to successfully process your renewal at the clinic, managers with portal access must bring updated electronic copies of renewal requirements. Licenses will be ready the same day at the clinic. Accommodations operating beyond October 31st, 2026 without successfully completing the renewal process will receive a violation ticket. Operating without a valid license commits an offense. For more information, please contact our compliance officers at 227-2420 extension pound 247. Email hotels@belizetourismboard.org or WhatsApp us at 635-3688. Renew your BTB accommodation license through the online portal starting August 1st, 2026, or look out for the renewal clinic near you.
These charter mints aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Cherie Culfill, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight.
We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Every payday, your money goes to Social Security. They're supposed to guard it and make sure you have benefits when you retire, but they're not guarding your money. A third of BTL is yours, bought with your money, your contributions.
BTL Board of Directors has agreed to acquire its competitor SpeedNet.
$80 million. Nobody asked you, even though your contributions paid for a third of the company.
Expect to get consultation from the public for something like that?
No, I don't think why. It is a private company. It is a private company.
It's a private company when you ask. But who gets the 80 million? From your national telecom?
62 million to the Ashcroft Alliance and 18 million to the Briseña family. Michael Ashcroft met with this board in April and he made it clear, don't look at the assets.
Your pensions, your future, and they told you not to look.
I don't want to continue with the discussion with you. I've given my position.
They are gambling with your pensions.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Altoona is one of the most visited Mayan city up until lately. The adjacent communities have collaborated together to see how they can get a space here that the wood carvers could actually market and sell their product. Not having the POS machine in the past, we have lost a lot of sales. Atlantic Bank helped supported our business, giving us the opportunity to get the POS machine. Now with the POS machine, we are able to do more sales, and that will, also bring more, finance to our families.
Atlantic Bank. building the future together.
It's not Keycocker or Placencia. It's right here in the city. The 3rd annual Birds Isle Lobster Fest. What? Yes, the Big Bad Birds Isle, alongside the Belize City Council and the Belize Tourism Board, is having a 3rd of its kind on Sunday, August 16th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's Birds Isle Lobster Fest. Come satisfy your lobster taste buds with luscious lobsters that will have you coming for more. There will be additional entertainment such as a kids' creative corner, trampolines, bouncy house, face painting, and many more games and prizes. Ice-cold drinks, music by top DJs, and other entertainers. So mark the date for the Birds Isle Lobster Fest in the city on Sunday, August 16th. Sponsored by Travelers Liquors Limited, the Belize Tourism Board, the Belize City Council, Birds Isle Restaurant, Kicks Originals, Maddie Sco, Birds Isle Cabanas, 4-Way Stationery and Internet Cafe, and Philip Neal Gas Depot.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corzal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
I can remember clearly, and it's deja vu right now, 2005. And everything else started to spiral. The people, the electorate of this country, voted them in.
It will go down in history as the single most turbulent day in Belize's political history.
It is time for us to stand up together and say enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
There is already fissures of a fracture.
Like I said, it's deja vu, 2005. The assets of this country belongs to us. The elected officials are temporary custodians.
The road ahead is fraught with political peril. And for what?
Decisions need to be made in the best interest of the Belizean people.
His party just suffered its worst losses ever. He conceded that the election results had a lot to do with him as leader.
Nothing happens if nothing happens. So let something happen so that something can happen. And currently, that something is the demonstration that is slated for the 18th of August in Belmopan.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Tonight, and quite suddenly, everything has changed, and that's because in a shock press release at 4:30 p.m., it was announced, quote, Cabinet does not support the proposed acquisition. Simple as that. After months, more than a year of roiling debate, the much discussed, much debated acquisition is DED. Simple as that. We say it as a shock release because Cabinet was to meet with the social partners today, but they could not agree to terms of the meeting, so it never happened. When we spoke via text with the Cabinet Secretary Stuart Leslie a few minutes before 3, he said he was awaiting instructions from the PM on how to move forward to possibly reschedule that social partners meeting. But when the meeting never materialized, it seems the PM just went ahead and pulled the plug on a deal that has rankled public sentiment, brought these social partners together in opposition, and caused political uneasiness in the ranks of the PUP. The statement says, quote, Cabinet acknowledges and recognizes that the proposed acquisition of Smart Speed Net by Belize Telemedia Limited is a matter of national concern. The government of Belize, the Belize Social Security Board, and the people of Belize are the majority owners of BTL, Cabinet, therefore, has a duty and obligation to responsibly review all available data and relevant information. It must also respectfully consider all views and concerns expressed by its members, social partners, including the media and the public. After careful deliberation, it is Cabinet's informed position that it does not support the proposed acquisition. Cabinet thanks all those who engaged in good faith and constructive dialogue on the issue and assures the Belizean people that it remains determined to always listen respectfully to their voices and act in the national interest. Again, this casual shutting the door on an $80 million deal after more than a year of dancing around it is more than surprising. It's a political shocker. And tonight, the social partners are trying to remap their positions after a day of intensive planning for protests next Tuesday. Tonight, some are asking whether a cabinet no really means no to BTL, which the PM himself has always insisted is self-governing.
I think we should allow BTL to do a business decision. They need to do what they believe is in the best interest, and the board members have a fiduciary responsibility to BTL. And if they believe that the decision that BTL is making is a good one, they should support it. If it's a bad one, they should say no. I have said that BTL, whilst it is owned by the government, BTL, BEL, and BWSL are private companies. And I am certain that should that happen, I don't know yet if it will happen, should it happen, they will be required to give a full explanation to the people of this country and to make the case that it is something that is in the interest of the company.
Joining us on set right now to make sense of all this is our news director, Jules Vasquez. Jules, welcome.
Yes.
Tell us what happened today and what happens next.
Well, it came as a shocker because, things were at a kind of stalemate, as we discussed last night, because that meeting that was to be held between Cabinet and its social partners didn't happen. Here's what factually happened. As I mentioned to you last night, I don't think the Prime Minister had any convincing to do. He is aware of the political calculus. He's also aware that he cannot act as a salesman on this, not to the social partners. I believe he has encouraged others to support it months ago, behind closed doors. But he was in a position where he realizes this deal is DED because of the political risk involved. So the Prime Minister, I believe, only wanted to meet with the social partners to tell them, I don't mind doing this. I don't mind to pull the deal. And here's what's going to happen, which I'll explain to you right now. But it is the most basic political calculus there is. The road ahead is fraught with danger. One, this big protest on Tuesday, honestly, with the opposition being in the state of what it is, I don't think the PUP was genuinely afraid of that. Yes, it would have been significant. Teachers are out of school. Draw that bigger crowd. So yes, it took the wind out of the sails of those who oppose this, but I don't think that was the greatest risk. I think the greatest risk was two, going forward into municipals. They had great political risk because it would have been a nagging issue, because it's unpopular, it's politically unpopular, it's unpopular in the public eye, it looks bad, as it should, because it is bad. But the second issue is, Mr. Briceño knows that if he had gone ahead with this, there would start to be rumblings about replacing him as leader. I'm not saying they would have gone anywhere. I'm not saying that anybody would have had a large enough group to remove him. But the rumblings would begin, and that is unhealthy because it can metastasize exactly into something that's problematic. So he cut his losses. So I don't think there was any cabinet vote taken. I think the statement said that, and we have the statement, gentlemen, I think the statement said that that cabinet has taken its decision to withdraw support. I don't know that a vote was taken. I know I spoke to the cabinet secretary at 2:30 p.m., 2:45 p.m. And he was just waiting on instructions of PM. He said no meeting was held. I said, will cabinet take a decision next week? He said that, he expects that they might take a decision next week. But he didn't know anything, so that tells me no vote was taken. Okay. What was done is the Prime Minister simply called the CAPSEC and said, CAPSEC, you know what? Let's not, because the CAPSEC wanted to know, when will I schedule the meeting with the social partners, because we have to have it before Tuesday. And the chamber has indicated, we would love to meet. So, I think the Prime Minister just said, it's not worth the hassle. Officially announced that the cabinet has withdrawn the support. I do not believe a formal position was taken on that. So, but I want to say that we have to look now what happens next. Right. Okay, first of all, you just saw the insert. The Prime Minister has always maintained it's BTL's decision. Let us be very clear. There are two things here. The regulator, which is the PUC, and there is the BTL Board of Directors. They are both, as I have said too many times, politically controlled by the directorate in the cabinet. The fact of the matter is that once the cabinet says it is DED,
it's DED.
It is DED for the Board of Directors of BTL, which is politically instrumentalized, as it perhaps has ever been, has always been. So it is politically instrumentalized, which is what made the thing problematic. Now, I did reach out to the PUC, which, as I have complained, has been very mute on this matter. The PUC, the public relations person, said, we take note of Cabinet's press release and will continue to monitor developments accordingly. This not going nowhere in the realm.
What happens to the chairman, Mark Helm Lizarraga? He was publicly defending this from
Well, he not only was publicly defending this,
right.
He was browbeating anyone who stood in its way.
So what does it
he
mean
was
for
he
him?
was he completely he distorted, in my opinion, so many of the discussions around this because he wanted to deliver for his political bosses. That is my interpretation. He says he acted in the best fiduciary responsibility, but I think he's imperiled. But let me just say, I think he's imperiled, but let me just say, Mark Lizarraga is not a cheap person to get rid of. He had a contract. The contract is worth almost $300,000 a year. He's not and the contract, I believe it came to an end at the end of last year, and I believe it was renewed. So that is a practical reality. But I think he's cooked. I think the man they call, unfortunately they call him this, I think the man they unfortunately call Senator Bacon is cooked to a crisp. But, being damaged goods in the PUP right now won't lose jobs for anyone.
Does this decision put monopoly concerns to rest?
Yes, I think it does. I think, as I said, I think the deal is DD. But the concern now, and I think
you don't think it can be restructured and brought back at another time?
Anything is possible. Okay. But I'm saying that there will be political reluctance to do so. Listen, this was all unnecessary. We first reported on this in June of 2025. We've asked the Prime Minister dozens of times. He's danced away from it. Dozens of times. This was all unnecessary. You see the decisiveness he showed today, the realization of political calculus. He could have saved the nation so much headache if he had simply said this. The same thing that he said today. We just not support that. Thing done.
But
the issue is...
You spoke about the Ashcroft faction last night.
Right. So the Ashcroft issue is this. When he met with Social Security on April 19th, 2026 virtually. Two of his executives in the room, he was meeting virtually. He basically threatened them. What he said was that he informed the board of the deal and he spelled out the consequences of refusing it. And this is what he told them, noting that SpeedNet has a detailed and aggressive plan to challenge BTL. This is what he said. A plan he claimed the company was quite excited to unleash. He portrayed the offer the offer of SpeedNet as a charitable act. Now SpeedNet only to make a profit of less than 2 million a year, 1.5 to 2 million, and selling for 80. But he said it's a charitable act. I'm offering you all, this is how he negotiates. I'm offering you all SpeedNet. It's not for sale. There will be no independent valuation, and there will be no negotiation of price. That's what he told them. And this is the final offer, because the alternative is a full-scale war for the market. So tonight, there are 200 SpeedNet employees in the 12 branches across the country. They are breathing a sigh of relief. They get to hold on to their jobs. But there's one more element. According to Mr. Ashcroft, if the deal did not go through, it's a race to the bottom or beneath the bottom. BTL is stuck because they were ruled to be a dominant provider earlier this year. They were ruled by the PUC to be a dominant provider and are on a 3-year price lock. They cannot increase their prices for 3 years because of the PUC. So BTL is stuck. And SpeedNet is saying, well, Ms. Ashcroft has said, well, we're going to race under the bottom. And very likely in that, Mr. Jaime Briceño and Mr. Renan Briceño will lose the value of their shares because he's going to ram the battleship. That is the threat that he has made, and he made it explicit at the Social Security meeting, that this is a final offer. So it is. We have a statement that just came in, and forgive me,
it's fine,
from the social partners, and I think we have the statement on the it just came in a few minutes ago. So they said, we commend the cabinet for listening to the concerns expressed by Belizeans across the country. It demonstrates the importance of public scrutiny, collective action, etc. The social partners nevertheless emphasize that Cabinet's stated position does not by itself determine the legal and regulatory disposition of the proposed transaction. The Public Utilities Commission, as a relevant regulatory authority, retains its legally required and respective obligations under law, and those processes must continue transparently, independently, and in accordance with the applicable statutory framework. The social partners reiterate the requests, etc., etc. We call upon BTL to act in accordance with its legal and fiduciary obligations. And it says, Cabinet's announcement does not remove the need for accountability regarding how a transaction of this magnitude was introduced, assessed, and advanced. I couldn't agree with that more. But the fact is, if you are waiting to hear the PUC come out with a final decision, it is easier to wait to see pigs flying across your window tomorrow morning, because the PUC is not known to move in accordance with the public interest. The earth rotates to their own dictates. I don't understand the internal logic. My point is, the PUC has never been a factor in this. BTL has moved ahead with the PUC always as an afterthought, and they continue to be an afterthought. So what happens next? Everybody on the BTL board, all except one, are politically appointed. Everybody got the memo. DED, abandon ship. In my mind, Mark Lizarraga must jump over the edge of the ship along with it, since he has been the most public proponent and a rather browbeating
Do we hold
public
the PUC
proponent.
accountable at any point in time? Because it seems like we keep giving them a pass.
Yeah, well, I think the PUC in my mind, they are a shame unto themselves. It's an embarrassment how they have performed, their total lack of public engagement, the complete opaqueness of the chairman, Dean Molina. These are my personal views. But I want to, we have a post, I think, from the BNTU Orange Walk branch.
Okay.
Right? The BNTU Orange Walk branch, they posted a short while ago, maybe 45 minutes, until the government representatives on BTL board rescind their yes vote, we proceed as planned. The fact is, Indira, it is true now as it ever was. When a baby want ball, you just have to watch out. People are upset, disappointed, and displeased with the Briceño administration. They don't need much to trigger them to go and march. I believe there still will be a protest next week. I believe it will be far less vociferous. The BNTU or the NTUCB was planning to have a simultaneous in Belize City and Belmopan, simultaneously the NTUCB. Forgive me, I think we have the flyer for that, for the NTUCB one. They have not announced. We did reach out to them. They have not announced because they have to consult their memberships. I do not believe, and this is just speculative on my part,
right.
They will still, I don't think they have the momentum, the impetus to still have two. I think they can probably still have one. But for the time being, the Prime Minister, and let us be very clear, yes, the political calculus is the product of the fare of regular folk, because they get the sense. Regular folk saw through this, saw it as a paramountcy of self-dealing, of a Briceño-owned company. They saw through it. So it was the apprehension of political risk based on on the popular sentiment that this was a stink and dirty deal, that the entire drama around it continued for at least 14 months after we first reported it, is a shame, I think, to Mr. Briceño. Why did he leave it to linger so long? Because I believe he wanted it to go through. Now he can say it's because of the risk he feels from Mr. Ashcroft and what will happen to BTL. We shall see. But you cannot remove the fact that $18 million in familial wealth was at stake. So we saw the flyer for Black Friday that they want to do tomorrow. I don't know how many people still wear black. I know that it's left to be seen. If people still claim it, it is a people's victory.
Absolutely.
I want to be very clear.
Yeah.
It is a people's victory, and without being self-important, forgive me, it is a Channel 7 victory as well. And I'm not being solipsistic. I'm saying that this is something that we have championed, but at cost.
Of course.
Because, you get sanctioned by big companies, you get criticized all over the place. But
my question is, does this become the blueprint for future just national decisions? Because it brought out so many different elements that you feel a sense of pride about, just everybody coalescing, having questions, being aggressive about it. Like you said, it's a people's victory. Should we use this format moving forward in certain decision making, especially of these nature?
The Greeks had a thing they called Thucydides' trap, right? When large powers and small powers, they go to war. Well, Mr. Briceño was facing the Said Musa trap. I recall very well, the Musa administration was facing two things. In 2005, they had to introduce tax measures, which this is right after G7. Greatly unpopular, protests in Belmopan, breaking up the National Assembly stairs, tear gas, everything. And he had to withdraw it at the last minute. They went to the House, it was a disaster. The House meeting had to be suspended because of the tear gas. And in 2007, even more unpopular, was the introduction of the Universal Bill, again Ashcroft related, to pay the Ashcroft Alliance. Mr. Briceño at least learned from that, and he learned to pull back before. But I think that this unison formed in these social partners, even though Chamber bailed out on them last night. Chamber panicked and bailed out on them. But I think that this will be a continued source of pressure upon the government going forward. This pact of social partners, we can show the letterhead, gentlemen, of the four major social partner groups. And more importantly, I want to show the letterhead here. More importantly, this will play out in the Senate, because for the first time they walked out of the Senate. And they can, if they work with the opposition, with the three opposition senators, they can block certain legislation, not all, but certain legislation that comes to the Senate for approval. So it's consequential, and I think that it does forebode, it does have a bearing on what happens next.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jules. Thank you. Certainly changes the conversation as we move forward.
Indeed, it does.
So while the social partners have to wheel and come again, we'll wait to see what they come back with. Last night, the president of the country's mightiest union sent a message to her membership, a call to arms to get ready for Tuesday. She added that this could be shaping up to be a repeat of 2005. Courtney Menzies put it all into perspective.
The Green Machine is gearing up for what is promised to be a massive demonstration outside of Tuesday's cabinet meeting. In a message to the membership last night, the BNTU president explained that the NTUCB has called their affiliates to action, and the teachers' union is answering the call.
Nothing changes if nothing changes. The BNTU Council of Management had an emergency meeting today to discuss the vote that was taken at the NTUCB's meeting last night. That vote called for all its affiliates, of which the BNTU is a part of, and their membership to join in a massive demonstration on Tuesday, the 18th of August. You have been asking for the BNTU to get involved, but the BNTU Council of Management believes that these are national issues and that the NTUCB should lead. Now that there is a plan of action, the BNTU Council of Management is fully on board with what the NTUCB has recommended. Now, this is the opportunity for us to collectively register our discontent as it pertains to all of these national issues, including the proposed acquisition of SMART.
And while the teachers' union is fully on board, the Chamber of Commerce's latest press release seems a bit wishy-washy compared to the other joint social partner statements. Those statements insisted that more information be shared before any meeting is held with either the PM or BTL, and additionally, that all social partners be at the table. Well, the night before the meeting was scheduled, the BCCI issued an individual release, clarifying that it has not declined any invitation or expressed an unwillingness to meet. They explain that they have a prior commitment to send a delegation to El Salvador through August 14th. They're now requesting a postponement of the meeting and, quote, rejects any mischaracterization of its temporary unavailability to accommodate the proposed Thursday, August 13, 2026 meeting as an unwillingness to engage. They added enthusiastically that they still believe they can have a meaningful engagement before Cabinet's decision on Tuesday. Still, while the BCCI may be willing to meet with the PM, they emphasize that their original stance on the proposed acquisition has not changed, and they're hoping for substantive responses to their concerns. And with the BCCI still on their side, on paper at least, BNTU president noted that she's having a bit of deja vu.
I can remember clearly, and it's deja vu right now, 2005. The Belize Healthcare Partner issue, and everything else started to spiral. It is important that our leaders pay keen attention to what is happening and understand that we are all in power because the people, for me, my membership, for them, the electorate of this country, voted them in. So it's important that we pay attention to what the electorates are saying. Not only will you be having the unions, but the social partners as well. We'll be out there. Like I said, it's deja vu, 2005.
Indeed, August 18th will be just 10 days shy of the 22nd anniversary of the protests of 2004. That protest, which brought together the unions, the chamber, civil society, and the opposition, was marketed as pro-Belize and non-partisan, saw Belizeans from every sector filling the downtown streets.
We want to see a lot of transparency. This is our money, it's not the government money. These are the workers' money and the employers' money. So we got to take charge of this situation that is happening in the country.
Then, in January 2005, the BCCI agreed to a 2-day shutdown of its businesses. That was a tipping point for the Musa administration, though they did not know it yet. But the coalescing of dissenting groups marked a momentum shift. So will next week mark the start of that kind of momentum for those who oppose the deal? And will Mr. Briceño be as heedless as the last PUP Prime Minister? Well, it depends on the size, the mood, and the muscle of the crowd they mobilize. And in 5 days, we will know if they are serious enough to send a clear and consequential message to PM Briceño. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
No confirmation has been given as to whether the protest will still proceed. We expect a statement tomorrow. We'll take our first break now. When we come back, we'll talk to the wife of a fisherman murdered at sea. Don't go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
As a sheetrock installer for decor construction, I know the job is only as good as the materials I use. Using inferior products can lead to more waste, weak core integrity, sagging, and more time fixing the problem instead of finishing the job right. And that's why I trust USG Drywall, Ply-Sem, and base screws from Venice, because quality is savings.
Quality is savings at Benny's. Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and savings.
The PUP is getting ready to use $30 million of your Social Security pension funds for BTL to buy Smart. Smart is owned by Lord Ashcroft and the Briceños. If the sale goes through, the Briceños will get $18 million. The PUP is always gambling with your Social Security money. Remember when Harry Courtney was charged in 1997 for theft of $3.34 million of Social Security funds on a questionable investment? Remember when Narda Garcia was fired as CEO of the Social Security Board in 2006 after a Senate Special Committee found she and the board had recklessly lent tens of millions of your pension funds to Glenn Godfrey-related companies? Remember when Belizeans rioted in the streets because the PUP forced the Social Security to lend $10 million of your pension money to the Ashcroft Alliance's Sunshine Holdings to purchase BTL shares? PUP. Always gambling with Social Security pension funds for dirty deals.
Nokche Adventure Park came about from the birth of COVID. Everything was on pause for tourism. So we decided, let's do something different. We got 10 bikes, 10 ATVs, and we were just doing ATV tours. Shortly after, we were approached by the cruise lines. We agreed to work with them, and from then it just started growing. We set up the chocolate tour first, and then from there we went into the culinary experience at the different Mayan cultures. We have the gift shop, the cooking class, the shaman, and the healing, and it just all came together. When you reach a certain point, you need investors, you need partners to come into your business. Atlantic Bank does make it easy. Even my 7-year-old could do it.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
The success of my business means a lot to my family, especially my brother, because I'm continuing his legacy, making butterfly art collages. It was very hard for me to receive payments. I had to go directly to meet the person I'm purchasing from and who I'm selling to receive payment. Because I opened my business account with Atlantic Bank, now I can make and receive payments online, and this has made my job much easier.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
If you're tired of the baking in your house with the only Cocoa Wawa fan and finally realize that the time to get yourself a good, durable, reliable fan, contact Maya's panel website or social media. Maya's going to hook you up with one of their 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan where might could even change your life as it keep you cool in this hot Belizean weather. Yes man, because their 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan from Maya's not just could blow your lip back way, they might could blow away your mind if you say blow away the toxic konomono out of your life and the bad vibes out of your house. Order your 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan from Maya's website or on their social media, and Maya's going to ship out your fan anywhere countrywide ASAP. Not believe me? Visit mayaselectronics.bz right now to order your fan today.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7. Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
BTB Accommodations License Renewal 2026 opens August 1st through the online portal. BTB is also having its license renewal clinic countrywide, starting August 10th in Corozal, then in Orange Walk, Key Cocker, San Pedro, Hopkins, Placencia, Toledo, Belize City, San Ignacio, and Belmopan. Remember, to successfully process your renewal at the clinic, managers with portal access must bring updated electronic copies of renewal requirements. Licenses will be ready the same day at the clinic. Accommodations operating beyond October 31st, 2026 without successfully completing the renewal process will receive a violation ticket. Operating without a valid license commits an offense. For more information, please contact our compliance officers at 227-2420 extension pound 247. Email hotels@belizetourismboard.org or WhatsApp us at 635-3688. Renew your BTB accommodation license through the online portal starting August 1st, 2026, or look out for the renewal clinic near you.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Police have detained a 33-year-old fisherman in connection with a stabbing incident at Ranguana Key that left 35-year-old Belize City fisherman Jose Luis Artiega dead and another fisherman injured. Initial police investigations indicate that around 4:30 p.m. yesterday afternoon, the suspect, Artiega, and several other fishermen were at Ranguana Key when an altercation broke out. That's when the 33-year-old allegedly stabbed Artiega and another fisherman before being subdued. They only had sailboats, so it took a while to get the injured men to Placencia. Artiega later succumbed to the injuries he sustained, while the other injured fisherman was also taken for medical treatment. Artiega leaves behind 5 children, one who happens to be a newborn that he did not even get the chance to meet as yet, as the baby was born just 4 days ago. We spoke to his wife today, and she said that this hurts.
Last night I get the news when they come, and when I send my daughter to go by, and then they tell she, and she hurry come and tell me. I never expect to hear that kind of news from him. I have 5 kids, a newborn was just born 4 days ago, and he never reached to meet him, even to hold him.
Tell me a little bit about your husband.
Well, he was a nice person. He never fool around with no people. He never like fight, nothing for getting in trouble. He always be for his kids. He always work for his kids. He's a fisherman, so well, I don't got nothing to say about him because he's a good father. He love his kids. He used to love his kids a lot. He go every trip. He go every like he only come home for 3 or 2 days and then afterwards he go for 8 or 9 days. That's it. It will be hard for me because I stay with 5 kids and he was the head of the house. So it will be hard for me by myself. Hurt me because now my husband. It hurt me because I don't know how to explain. It hurts. It hurts.
Murder charges are expected to be brought shortly. A robbery in Belama at Guanfan shop on July 25th has resulted in an arrest. The owner of the store was held at gunpoint and robbed of $700 in cash before the gunman took off, running towards Central American Boulevard. He was later detained and identified as 20-year-old Christian Denver Ramos and was charged for robbery. Ramos appeared in court today and pleaded not guilty. Due to the nature of the offense, Ramos was denied bail and he was remanded to the Belize Central Prison until October 19th. We note that this is not Ramos's first charge for robbery. He was previously granted high court bail in 2024 for a $165,000 armed robbery on San Pedro. The SpeedNet acquisition has lost the support of Cabinet, but before that was announced this morning, the Belize Communications Workers for Justice demanded greater transparency over Belize Telemedia Limited's proposed $80 million acquisition of SpeedNet, arguing that Belizeans deserve to see the evidence behind the deal before it is approved. BCWJ says the transaction raises unanswered questions about the valuation of SpeedNet's technology, infrastructure, spectrum, customer base, and other assets, as well as the cost of integrating or replacing its systems and the potential impact on competition, consumers, and workers. We spoke with Representative Emily Turner today, who shared their stance.
We believe that BTL has not provided us enough evidence for us to be able to make a sound decision on this acquisition. And from we came out in January, nothing really has substantially changed. It is the same. Is the same information they have shared, and they haven't shared with the Belizean public, the social partners, any further information, and that's the reason why we have decided to also come out and show our solidarity with the social partners on this matter. It is an issue at the heart of what we represent. We believe that at the heart of this issue is accountability, and we have had our challenges with BTL when it comes to accountability, and BTL is asking us to take their word for it, and that is something that we have had a struggle with doing. Our experiences with the BCWJ members have been real, and it is hard for us to say that we can take BTL's word on what they will do and what they say is happening or what they have seen without us getting that information and making an assessment on it. And as a Belizean that is part of the ownership of this company, we all believe that we deserve the answers, we deserve the evidence on this acquisition.
And the BCWJ says that 1 year of SpeedNet's financials, which were provided, were not enough for the company to make a sound decision on the proposed acquisition.
Do you believe that 1 year financials is enough?
No, that's definitely not. Some of us have been part of this industry for over 20, 25 years, and we have also worked in the region, and we have consulted with other experts that have done this type of acquisition in the region, and at minimum, there should be at least 3 years financials, but the appropriate one is 5 years, as everybody has been asking for.
So they're saying they're not getting assets, they're just getting cash flow and those customers. How do you rebut that?
Okay, so if it's only the cash flow, then it goes back. Now we have to rely on their financials. How is Smart performing? Because we saw that I think from what we saw, some of the information shared that the evaluation firm WARS had done an estimate or a forecast that was in 60 million or something like that. Then there were some people saying that it was they were making 40 million at some point. So the numbers are all over the place, and I think that we need to see those figures so that then we can know if this deal makes sense. Like if we could actually depend on Smart giving us 20 million per year so that we can pay back that 80 million in 4.5 years. I don't think that we have seen that. Anything else that we are doing here is just speculating because we don't have the numbers.
And in light of the protests originally planned for Tuesday, will the BCWJ be joining? The answer is an emphatic yes.
So at this time, we know that we are definitely going to be in support with the Solidarity for Tomorrow with Wearing Black, and then we are trying to understand what all will be, where exactly will be the protest, because as we understand there may be some logistics that we kind of need to clarify, but it's something that we do intend to show our solidarity for.
We expect that some measure of protest will still happen. And when it comes to the chairman of the BTL Board of Directors, the BCWJ is not convinced that he is connected to real sentiment on the ground.
I think that his comments were very, like, he's not in touch with what's going on the ground. You know, like you said, you have to read the room. He's not reading this environment at all, because for some reason he believes that he can just proceed with this, and then he changes the statements that he makes every time he is asked something. Then he introduces a whole lot of things that makes the whole thing muddy and murky. And it's intentional so that we all start getting confused about this thing. But this thing isn't confusing. This is numbers. Show me the financials. Show me your technology assessment. Show me your integration costs. Show me what, if you say you're going to move towers and you're going to put it somewhere else, show me what that one costs. Because moving a tower is not, you want to move it and just lift it and it's gone. You have to build a base station. You have to assess whether you can move that steel that's there, and if the equipment that is on that tower can integrate into what BTL has. There's a lot to it. So he is introducing a lot of things that creates a lot of confusion, and I think it's intentional so that we can start going after each other or scattering around to try to figure out what he's saying. But I think with true evidence presented to us, assessments, the proper assessments, the financial records that everybody's asking for 5 years, all of this would go away. We wouldn't have to be guessing, or we wouldn't have to be doubting what he's saying. We want to believe him, so let him show us the information.
But as we learned when we spoke to him earlier this week, Chairman Lizarraga has a much different threshold for information sharing than regular folks. In fact, what we call news, he calls mischief. Jules Vasquez reports.
Channel 7 first reported on this intended acquisition in June of 2025. It was, in our opinion, an important heads up for the public.
There are discussions for those cable companies to be bought over by BTL, which had started years ago. Smart may also be bundled in there, right? Smart, the phone company, which again the Briceño family has an interest in. But I have to flag it now because the Briceño family has a vested interest. But if such a sale would happen, the Briceño business empire, all respect to it, would gain substantially because it's both the cable company and the phone company.
Wow.
We're talking tens of millions of dollars.
More than a year later, that is still what is on the table. But the chairman says it should never have been reported.
It's unfortunate that this whole process was leaked prematurely for mischief, and it continues to be perpetuated like that for mischief.
And while he calls lively public debate mischief, here's how he describes public consultation, the kind which was never done in earnest.
You have to remember that consultation, public consultation, came through, legally, the PUC. That's the place where the public can go and make all its representations and express all its concerns as well. That was another venue for consultation.
He's talking about this 7 letters sent to the PUC, all objecting to the acquisition. For Chairman Mark, that constitutes public consultation. It is a graphic and worrying distortion of what consultation really means, totally shifting the burden of engagement from the company to the consumers. And it's especially bad when those consultations were politically mandated.
Take their time, one consultation at a time. And if after a couple months of consultation, the people not there with it, then BTL will have to take a chill pill, you know. They will have to take a chill pill. They will have to shelf it. Because ultimately, it's the people of Belize who owns the company. It's not Mr. Lizarraga. It's not the board of BTL. It's the people of Belize.
Anybody that has wanted to meet with us has been afforded the ability to meet with us. Okay?
Consultation is never enough. I think there's a misconception that you have these privately, publicly owned companies and they believe that they don't have to consult with the Belizean people. That I have a serious problem with. You either own it or you don't own it. And we own it. So if we own it, then you have to come to us to ask our opinion.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, the Central American Commission on Development and Environment met in Belize today. We'll take you there. Don't go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7. Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
This week, Belize is hosting regional environmental leaders under its pro tem presidency of CCAD. The high-level regional meetings are being hosted here as part of Belize's leadership of the Central American Commission on Environment and Development, CCAD, on the CICA. The 75th Ordinary Regional Council of Ministers brings together 8 CICA member states to discuss regional environmental cooperation and climate change challenges. We spoke to our Minister of Sustainable Development, who is representing us under the event. Here's what he shared about today's meeting.
Yes, so today we're celebrating the 75th meeting of the Council of Ministers of Environment of Central America. Belize holds the pro tem chairmanship from the 1st of July to the end of December 2026. And this meeting now is to pass over the presidentship from Dominican Republic to Belize, and for Belize also to take over and put in its priorities for the projects that they see that we can hopefully implement within the region in the 6 months, which is sometimes difficult because 6 months is a short time. But luckily, the governance structure allows for us to be able to try to complete the projects that the past presidency couldn't complete. We start off ours and try to do as much as we can, and then the next presidency takes over from where we left. For us, very important because sometimes it's difficult to come by on your own. But when we have a regional project with the same focus, with the same priorities, CCAD can be the leverage for that funding from the global international financial institutions to be able to seek the funding to effect these projects on a regional basis.
One major discussion on the table for CCAD is how they can secure international funding for climate initiatives. We asked Minister Habet what they have in mind for projects in Belize.
We want to concentrate. Belize has always tried to see how we can focus on the issue of water. Water is essential, it's a basic necessity, but we have seen that we have had a depletion in water, especially with the issues of El Nino, other climatic events. We also focus water with drought because it's one extreme or the other. On a regional scale, we are already seeing the effects of the El Nino and drought periods, especially along the dry corridor of Central America and the Dominican Republic. We have requested support for a framework for sargassum at a regional level. It had started with Dominican Republic and Belize, and now yesterday we had a meeting with the ministers who are present, and luckily they all have agreed that we will pass a resolution today and make a declaration, formulate a framework, and see how we can seek funding for projects on a larger scale to find a solution, of course.
The meetings run from 10th through to the 14th of August. In other environmental news, we have closely followed reports of fish kills in the Belize River these past 2 weeks. It has greatly impacted the ecosystem in the water, killing not only fish but other wildlife as well. Based on what we know so far, the speculation is that it may have originated from Santander or an illegal rice farm in the area. We asked the Minister of Sustainable Development about it today, and he refused to comment and to commit to any theory.
These businesses, when they come in, and especially when they have to do land clearing, there are rules and regulations. One, for example, you have to do an EIA for clearing anything above 300 acres of land, whether it's for agriculture or any other productive area. The thing is that many times they start off well, but if there is not sufficient monitoring and compliance checking, then they don't comply. We try to be there as much as possible. It's not only the Department of Environment, there's Pesticide Control Board, there's the Ministry of Agriculture, there's the Ministry of Infrastructure. If they have to do any digging, if they have to do any canals or anything else, then you have the Ministry of responsible for mining. So it's a group of us. So I think what we have to do is to try to see how we can hold them to task on those commitments that they make because they have to sign an ECP. They sign it, and until they sign it, then the department releases the environmental clearance. But as you mentioned, the fish kill certainly has been affected by farms upstream from where the fish were actually dying. And the investigation took a while because you just can't come and blame somebody if you don't have the evidence. As you know, we are a litigious nation and they'll take you to court for anything, you have to find money to pay. So we have to be very careful. But as I have always said, you call the issue with the tourist or somebody else trying to touch the jaguar. Yes, they did it. It was something that they shouldn't have done. But for me, it is more on the area of education. Because if people are educated, then you know what you should do, what you can't do, and you know what you should not do again on another occasion.
As for that rice farm, the minister was unable to confirm whether or not they had obtained an EIA to operate in that area. He explained that they are working to determine whether or not that farm or the others in the area may be the source of the problem.
Minister, so in that case, that raising, I imagine, of so much forest cover, 380 acres, that's what would have happened, right, for a rice farm. So the forest department wasn't aware of that?
They are looking at it because I don't know if those people had a request for an EIA or an environmental clearance. So if they're not, then they will have to be dealt with by the law. But normally they should have to. But it was not only that farm. It is, I think, in the last year or so, there's over 3,000 acres of land that was cleared. Right? But remember also, Santander has, close to Santander. And so what the report is showing is that even some of the independent studies and people that went into the canal say, okay, this canal is coming from Santander, but it's not that Santander is dumping directly into the canal. They have their ponds, leachate ponds and everything else, and when they overflow, they go into a next one, eventually into the canal, and then eventually into the river. But some of these farms also, I think 2 or 3 of them also empty into the same canal. So that is why I say it's hard to just pinpoint and say one. Maybe it's all of them that are contributing. And maybe even other farms. We have farms. There's another large sugarcane plantation in Big Falls. There's, I think, across from Big Falls,
Down south?
No. Big Falls here by mile 23, 25.
That's not Santander?
That is not Santander. Well, we have
a sugar farm?
Sugarcane farm, sorry.
Sugarcane farm. Sugarcane, okay.
Yes, right. And you have agricultural production, corn, bean production.
So this farm is producing to provide sugarcane for Santander to mill.
Yes,
Got
that's
you.
right.
So it's not owned by Santander. That's interesting.
No. Last week, we reported on an appeals court judgment in favor of Fowler Works Enterprises Limited and against the Minister of Natural Resources regarding a land sale agreement that occurred in the last days of the Barrow administration. The Ministry of Natural Resources had entered into 4 separate agreements to sell a total of nearly 2,000 acres of national land in the Duck Run area of the Cayo district to Fowler Works Enterprises Limited. The new government refused to honor the sale, which the High Court said they were wrong to do. They challenged it at the Court of Appeal, which unanimously dismissed the appeal, leaving GOB facing millions of dollars in damages. The land is in Habet's constituency, and so we asked him about the outcome of that case today, and he said he was totally disappointed.
Are you disappointed at the Court of Appeals ruling regarding the Fowler Works acreage in Duck Run? I can't remember which one of them.
Yes, it's in the country. Yes, certainly. Totally disappointed because, firstly, it is in my constituency. Secondly, I found out almost a few weeks after the 2020 elections, one of my constituents asked me to help him secure his title for his lot of land where he was living in Santa Familia. And then he gave me these documents that then my former opponent, Mr. Janagas, had left there. And when I saw 1,910 acres sold to Fowler Works Enterprises, but most of this land has been occupied by the people of Santa Familia for 30, 40 years. Some of them got it handed over from from their parents to the son. And I took it to the minister. The minister immediately put a stop to it. But then the person who had already purchased the land about 20 days before the elections of 2020 took it to court. And now the court is saying that the government has to pay him $10 million. That's ridiculous. I don't even think he knows where the land is. He has never put foot on the land. He won't put foot on that land if you have 40, 50 local farmers with their land there.
And while his government lost in that case, they were also losing big time in the proposed BTL acquisition of Smart. Well, he steered clear of taking a position on that one.
Yes, it has been discussed amongst our cabinet. We had 3 presentations from Social Security, BTL, and was it
SSB.
and the PUC. And so I'm waiting for Tuesday to see what will be the decision.
You have to decide. You will contribute to that decision.
That's right. So we'll see as a cabinet. That's what we have to do.
Do you feel the pressure of the people to oppose this deal?
There is from the people, but the people is also Social Security, represented by Social Security in a way, because they have some investments in BTL. So you have to look at it from all sides.
The people don't want it.
Which people?
Belizean citizens, the owners of BTL and the owners of
how do you know that?
Because you see it all on social media. You speak to people. They've been making
how many people on social media? I have seen.
So the unions are going to demonstrate Tuesday while you all are meeting. The unions represent hundreds of workers, thousands actually.
So it's going to be a decision that cabinet will make on Tuesday.
Turning now to news of the crisis at the Caribbean Court of Justice. Earlier this month, we told you about the leaked emails coming out of the CCJ, reported on by the Trinidad Express. It shows a rift between the president, Winston Anderson, and Judge Chile Iboi Osuji. This came after the judge wore traditional Nigerian clothing, leading Anderson to remove Iboi Osuji from the panel for 2 cases, including one for Belize. Anderson explained to him that business attire was required and copied the other judges in the email chain, which revealed a long string of grievances that 5 of the 6 judges have with President Anderson. The 6th judge no one has heard anything about is Belize's own Justice Dennis Barrow. But his email, which was far more moderate, was mentioned in a press report last night by CCN TV6. Here is a clip.
This court and in this region. On the same day, Justice Barrow also weighed in, stating, "We need to be careful not to elevate to a finding of fact the misgiving that removing Chile from De Almada was a device to suppress or eliminate the discussion in that case of the ratio TCL versus Guyana. Let us consider whether Winston could really have thought that none of the other judges would share Chile's views. I raise these matters to ensure we maintain perspective as we advance our demands for a reset."
And while BTL may have gone to the back burner, but the Belize Bus Association, BBA, is pressing the government for an urgent response on its request to extend diesel subsidy support for bus operators, warning that persistent high fuel prices and mounting economic pressures could push the sector toward another breaking point. In a letter dated August 12, BBA President Philip Jones reminded Transport Minister Dr. Louis Zabane that the association had first written to him on July 15th seeking an extension of the subsidy and had requested a response by the end of July. According to the BBA, no response was received, and when the association followed up on August 5th, Minister Zabane instructed them to forward the request directly to Prime Minister John Briceño, which they did on August 6th. The association says that as of August 12th, neither the Prime Minister nor the Transport Minister had responded. The BBA is now requesting a response by the end of this week, stressing that the issue affects the general public and should be addressed with the urgency required before economic pressures escalate to a breaking point for a second time. Finally, to note the passing of sporting legend and centenarian plus Gilbert Wilton Bertie Ellis at 109 years old. He passed away, leaving behind a long legacy in Belize. Over the course of more than 40 years, Ellis served as a warehouse keeper with both Santiago Castillo Company and the Belize Port Authority. In later years, he took on a role he especially enjoyed as a taxi driver. But beyond his work, Ellis was a cricket lover and participated in and supported several other sporting disciplines throughout his life. He also remained involved in the game as a coach and manager, including with the Guinness softball team where his daughter, Glenda Ellis, was a player. Ellis also contributed to public life through his involvement in several community organizations, including the Harmony Housing and Telephone Board. He also served as a Justice of the Peace and held the position of Grand Master of the Odd Fellows Lodge. Ellis never married, but was the father of 18 children, 3 of whom predeceased him. He is survived by 15 children, along with numerous grandchildren and extended family members. And that's all we have for you for Newscast tonight. Thanks for watching. With your news, I'm Indur Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a great evening. Join Dory Lanza here tomorrow at 6, and I'll be seeing you back on Monday. Have a great one.